want to give a big thanks to our studio audience for joining us today on Delmarva Life. To find out how you can become a member of our studio audience, visit delmarvalife.com and click on the Show tab, or call the number on your screen, 443-880-9116.
Well, you of course have heard of medical malpractice when a healthcare professional fails to follow accepted standards of practice, but medical malpractice doesn't just take place at the doctor's office. Medical malpractice can also include malpractice at the chiropractor's office, maybe even the dental office. It can even include nursing home negligence. Did you know that? Well, joining us today to talk about all of this are attorneys Jim Otway and Luke Rommel with Otway, Russo, and Rommel in Salisbury. Gentlemen, thank you very much for joining us.
Morning, Jimmy.
That. Jim, tell me a little bit about your firm.
Well, we're a small firm. We're 5 attorneys with support staff. We try and keep our firm a small size so that we can give more personal attention to our clients.
That way you can just stay close to everybody. Now, there's a lot to medical malpractice, Luke. Tell me some things about it.
Well, you're right. There are a lot of different kinds. And in any profession, we have what we call in the law the standard of care. And basically what that means is that a professional has to act reasonably under the circumstances. And what happens is sometimes if someone falls short of that standard, that's where you have a negligence case, or in many situations a malpractice case. So this could include not only medical cases where you think about going to the hospital, but dental cases, chiropractic cases, even law firms could be subject to a standard of care.
So would that apply to, for instance, if the doctor is prescribing me medicine, would that fall under a medical malpractice kind of thing?
Sure, and in many cases you'll have a court which in the past has defined what the standard of care is as related to the prescription of medicine. Right. So a doctor, to be reasonable, has to meet that standard.
So I guess that would go the same way with medical tests. If they don't order the right test for me, that might still fall under the same umbrella.
It certainly could.
Okay. Well, what about I've never heard of chiropractic malpractice. Tell me about it. What kind of thing
You don't
would that
hear
be?
a lot of cases involving chiropractic malpractice, but they do exist, and sometimes with very serious consequences. A case that we handled recently involved a gentleman who had been a patient for a chiropractor for a long period of time, and as part of the chiropractic maneuver, he would hold the head in his hands and twist the patient's head to try and adjust his spine. But unfortunately, one of the things they have to be careful of is that he pinched the vertebral artery, and the gentleman had a stroke right on the table with very serious consequences.
Wow.
So every profession, whether you're driving a truck, manipulating a spine, or whatever you're doing, requires careful attention.
Okay, so we talked about dental malpractice. What would be a good example of a dental malpractice?
Well, we don't see a lot. Our experience generally is that the dentists on Delmarva are very qualified, but we have had a few, and I think that we had a case a couple years ago where a patient went in for a relatively routine procedure, serious but routine, and he was given anesthesia, and unfortunately for him, he was given the wrong dosage of anesthesia and never woke up. That was a case that we had. Interestingly, if you ever go to the dentist and you're asked to stick out your tongue, or the dentist feels alongside your throat, you think it may have nothing to do with cleaning teeth, but that's what the standard of care requires the reasonable dentist to do.
And you've seen some cases of dental malpractice. Now, we hear a lot of stories, and they're horrible stories, about nursing home negligence. This falls under malpractice as well.
It's the same standard of care. Each industry has their own standards that professionals are required to adhere to. And over the past 5 or 6 years, we've done quite a few cases involving patients who have been prescribed or given the wrong medicine while a patient in a nursing home, and have died as a result of that. We've had people that have gotten terrible bed sores from inattention, not turning the patient when they should turn them. And as a result of that, they get infections from the bed sores and have died from that. So we've done quite a bit of work in that area.
So this is an important area to contact an attorney to make sure that all your bases are covered when it comes to a possible.
The best thing to do is go see your parent, your loved one, as often as you can, and keep an eye on what's going on.
All right. Jim, Luke, thank you very much for joining us today and sharing that information. That's some extremely important stuff that we need to know about. Now, if you would like to contact Otway, Russo, and Rommel, or maybe just read more about the attorney's practice, all you have to do is go to delmarvalife.com and you can click on the show tab. It's right there. Well, still to come on Delmarva Life, Brian Spiros pays a visit to the Palmer's Shopping Center in Long Neck, Delaware, what some of the businesses there have to offer. Delmarva Life, life at its best, here on Delmarva.